Welcome to the Superfast TouchDesigner tutorial series. In this tutorial, we are building a textured cube grid. We will extract 3D point positions from a grid into chop channels to drive our geometry. Then, we'll generate dynamic UVW texture coordinates and use a custom Script SOP to map a textured 2D array across our instanced box faces, which, by the way, you can grab completely finished on my Patreon today. Let's look at the network structure. Chapter 1. Overview. First, we extract 3D grid positions using SOP to DATs, converting them into chop channels. Next, pattern chops generate animated UVW coordinates to drive our texture mapping. Inside our textures component, text tops sequenced by a Python-driven switch top build a 2D texture array. Finally, a Script SOP maps these text layers onto our geometry, rendering out over a clean circular ramp background. Which reminds me, if you need beginner courses and getting feedback on your patches, you should consider joining over 400 students in my school community right now. Chapter 2. Network. To start, bring out a button comp and connect a count chop. Name this one counter_1. Connect this count into a math chop. Let's name it scale_01. Now add a lag chop. In the lag tab, set the lag to 3. Finish this chain by connecting it into a null chop. Name it counter_out. Alright, now let us repeat this control logic. Duplicate this network and change the lag values to 5 and 0. And hey, if you find this network interesting, but maybe don't want to build it all from scratch, you can just grab the finished project file on my Patreon. There are over 7,000 subscribers there who get access to all my project files, custom TouchDesigner plugins, and some free VJ packs. If you prefer to just jump straight in and experiment, the link for that is also in the description. Now let us build the structural foundation. Add a grid pop to the network. Set connectivity to point primitives. Set the size to 2.5 on all axes, and set columns to 3, rows to 3, and slices to 3. Add a pop to DAT to bring this into data. We convert our grid pop strictly into a DAT network, because organizing points within table structures allows us to easily slice specific rows and columns, targeting exactly the positional coordinates we need for instancing, without extra noise. Connect the pop to DAT to the first input of a select DAT. For the select parameters, change select rows to by index and set start row index to 1. Change select cols to by index, set start col index to 1, and end col index to 3. Bring in a table DAT. Let's edit this table. Write TX, then press Tab on the keyboard and write TY, then Tab again and type TZ. Add a merge DAT. Take the output of the table DAT into the first input and the select DAT into the second input. Connect the merge DAT to a DAT to chop. Let us map our parameters. Set select rows to by index. Change output to channel per column. Set first row is to names and first column is to values. This results in channels named TX, TY, and TZ, all tracking our positional data. This network extracts 3D point positions from the grid geometry and converts them into chop channels for instancing. First, a pop to DAT extracts the point coordinates into a table. Then we selected specific values and append TX, TY, TZ headers. Finally, a DAT to chop builds the channels. Now take the DAT to chop and connect it to an info chop. The info chop parameters gather operational data, like start length and sample format dynamically. Take the DAT to chop again and hook it to the first input of a merge chop. To create our texture coordinate data, add a pattern chop. Set the type to ramp. For length, reference the length channel from the info chop. Leave number of cycles at 0. For the phase, reference the counter out value. Set phase step per channel to 7. And to range to 0 and 15. In the Channel tab, change the channel names to U. We use the info chop length expression inside the pattern length parameter so that our U, V, and W texture coordinates always generate exactly enough samples to match the total number of instantiated boxes, preventing any mismatched data errors. Add a second pattern chop. Set type to ramp and length linked to the length channel. Number of cycles is 0. Set phase to reference the second counter out chop. Set to range values between 0 and 14, and then change channel names to V. Bring in a third pattern chop. Change type to random. Length should be as before, linked to the length channel. For amplitude, use the length channel but -1. Finally, change the channel names to W. Now connect all these pattern chops into the merge chop we had. To finish this part, add a null chop to the end of the merge chop and name it null_POS. This part of the network generates dynamic U, V, W texture coordinates for instancing. The info chop extracts the total number of points from the position data to ensure matching lengths. Then, the U and V pattern chops use a ramp type with an animated phase, creating a sliding texture effect across the instances. Finally, the merge chop combines TX, TY, TZ positions with the new U, V, W data for the final output. Now let's build the textures. Add a base comp and name it Textures. Also drop in a null top next to it. Now go inside the base comp. First place down an info chop. Next, create a text date. By the way, if you are enjoying this and want to learn a bit more about TouchDesigner, you are always welcome to join my school community. We have over 400 students learning together right now. It is a great place to find beginner courses, get feedback on your project files, and just network with other creators. If that sounds helpful to you, I will leave the link down in the description. Now feed the text top with random characters separated by commas. Now take the output of your text dat and connect it into a convert dat. On this convert dat, change the split cells at parameter to a comma. This creates a column for each character after the comma. Connect the output of this convert dat straight into a null dat. Let's name it ABC. Now go to the info chop and type convert1 in the operator parameter so it begins reading the data. Okay, now for the visual generation. Drop in a text top and name it letter 0. Now point its dat parameter to the null dat we made. In the dat call parameter, type me.digits. So we can copy this operator and the values will update automatically. Delete the default text, then, under the font settings, set auto size font to auto fit always, and set font size to 200. Now connect this text top into the first input of a switch top. Now duplicate this section 13 times. Now connect all of these to a switch top. Now add a text top for some text paragraphs. And on the text parameter, copy a long string. Toggle the word wrap parameter on. And change auto size font to auto fit always. Now set font size to 10.5. Copy this text top, change the paragraph, and input these to the switch top. Alright, let us build the driver logic. Sequence this by creating a constant chop. Create a constant named TIMECODE. Now for the value input, we will use this expression. This creates an endless frame-by-frame loop we will use to animate the switch node, cycling through the connected letters. It uses me.frame as a continuous counter. The modulo operator wraps this counter into a loop limited by the dynamic column count extracted from the info. Finally, adding 3 offsets the entire cycle, deliberately skipping the first 3 inputs. Wire this constant chop into a null chop. Move over to your switch top. Over in the switch tab, set index to reference the timecode null and write -1 at the end. We use an expression here to automatically grab our integer from the null chop, enabling us to offset and dynamically update the selected active text stream remotely without directly animating constraints inside the switch top. Take the completed switch top and route it forward to a level top. To build the flashing effect, create an LFO chop set type to square. Then apply 6.36 to frequency and set offset to 0.5. Also define amplitude to 0.5 and assign a phase of 0.344. In the level top target in its invert parameter, reference the LFO channel to link the pulse logic into the image signal. Create a texture 3D top to capture the entire process frame by frame. Set the type to 2D texture array, and let's reference the first info chop's length value inside the cache size parameter. Connect the texture 3D top to an out top. Now back into the main network, output the base comp to the null top. For our physical geometry, create a box SOP. In its parameters, set texture coordinates to face outside. Hook this to a script SOP and name it face UV. This script copies a 3D geometry and assigns a W value to each face's UV coordinates using a looping list. This allows mapping different texture 2D array layers to each side of the model. Let's review this code in more depth so you can better understand its functionality in this network. To do this, we will use a tool I'm developing to help creators with no coding experience understand and learn about it easily: header and environment. This is a docstring that defines the environment. In TouchDesigner me refers to the current dat and script. Op is the specific SOP surface operator that is executing this script. Cooking function definition. The onCook function is the main entry point. It triggers whenever the operator needs to update its geometry, such as when its inputs change or the timeline moves. Copying input geometry. This line takes the geometry from the first input, connected to the script SOP, and copies it into the current operator. This is a common starting point for procedural modifications. Define layer offsets. We define a list of float values called offsets. These are intended to be used as the W coordinate in a 3D coordinate system. U, V, W, which typically determines which layer of a 2D texture array a face will display. Iterate through primitives. We iterate through all the primitives' faces in the geometry. Using enumerate provides an index I, so we can cycle through our offsets list using the modulo operator. Assign UVW coordinates for every vertex in the current primitive. We set the third component of its UV coordinate, index 2, which is W, to our calculated offset. This ensures the entire face shares the same texture layer. Now let's go back to the network. Hook this into a geometry comp. In our geometry comp, go to the Xform tab and set rotate Y to ABS time.seconds multiplied by 15. In the Instance tab, flip instancing to on. Set default instance OP and translate OP both to our positional null chop. Assign translate X to TX, translate Y to TY, and translate Z to TZ. Jump to the Instance 2 tab. Switch texture mode to transform. Set U, V, and W to each respective letter. Add a PBR matte. Go to RGB and set base color to 0.2 across the board. Set metallic to 0.661 and roughness to 0.15. Change ambient occlusion to 1.5. Then in the Maps tab, point the base color map to our texture's null top. Then assign the material to the geo. For the render, I'm using a camera viewport as usual and an environment light with an HDRI map. For the render top, I'm using anti-alias to 8 times, with 720 by 1280 resolution and 32-bit float pixel format. Connect the render top into a level top. Set black level to 0.2, brightness to 2, and gamma to 1.25. Connect this into the first input of a composite top. For the background, add a ramp top. Set the ramp color from white to soft gray tone. Change type to circular and period to 3. In common settings, adjust resolution to match the render settings at 720 by 1280. Connect this to the second input of your composite top. In your composite top, set operation to over and pixel format to 32-bit float in common settings. Send the output of the composite top to another level top. Set contrast to 0.75. Use the buttons to change the texture distribution dynamically. Perfect. That's all for today. See you on the next tutorial. I hope you've successfully completed this tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments.